Turn on the hotspot. What? Ah, okay, oh. No.
That thing is so heavy, bro. That thing is heavy. It's even more. Wait. I'm just saying you're giving me a break. You want to put it? I don't know. Pull it up a little bit. There you go. Nothing I want to eat now. It is Hamza. Like an angry face.
أكيد مش عايزة أطلب لك. حمزة.
Hamza,
سلام على فكرة. يعني مثل زي ما انت عشان اخد اي حاجة بس احنا انا عندي كده بعد
خدها عليها صليب يعني. لا فين مفيش مشال كسر. بقول لك هنا في حاجه الراجل يقول ده هو هي اللي كنت قاعد هنا كلمته بالهم خالد
might make it 45 minutes shorter, but it's an important lecture. One question is the PowerPoint slides will be made available, inshallah, don't worry about. So I arranged with ICOI, the pattern of the class, and personally, if you send me an email, I'll send it to you. There's nothing special about it. I was trying to make a workbook, but I didn't finish the time. But the slides are available to anyone. I'll be here after Salah sometime if you want to discuss what book is good for you or anything. I can help you. Please, again, don't forget the number. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Just before I start, anybody knows game theory? So, it's a theory that we can use in economics, politics, and in war, by which you predict outcomes. By which when I design a move, you just go emotionally. This is a rational, systematic, logical, mathematical way of computing what's the best course of action. And I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to show this to you. Hamas and Israel. Did any game theorist analyze this? Is there a theory behind what they do? Is there math behind it? What do you think? I'll show you. So, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala al-mursalin, sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Yeah. So, as we said, Nuruddin Zenki succeeds in function, and a whole reform happens. And in his era, in his time, people really thrive in this area, right? Whether it's schools, architecture, even they describe beauty, gardens, parks, free services, bathrooms. You know, one thing I didn't describe about the Crusades, and I just maybe 5 minutes before we go. How did the Franks compare to the Muslims? How did the Muslims see the Franks, right? Because you know when we speak about the Crusader Knights, people think chivalry, clean. It's not true. So we have reports from people like Osama bin Laden, who lived at the time and was in, Damascus and Aleppo when they had those joint treaties, and he got to see the Franks close. And he describes certain situations about the Franks. So the first thing he describes, first of all, when it comes to clerics, right? The Franks, the Crusaders, did not bathe. They did not bathe for a year or two. To the extent, and I'm not joking, they will tell you, we know that the Frankish army is coming before they come from the Slavs. Literally. I was visiting Spain one time and I saw one of the galleys, those ships, where you have people that row in, right? And they use slaves to put them and row. And I noticed something, they chained the slave. So you're sitting rowing and you're chained. And I said, wait a minute, he's sitting in this place, he doesn't move. And he said, yeah. The slaves used to sit, eat, drink, go to the bathroom, sleep in the same spot. And then they told me, you can smell a galley ship miles before you see it from the stench of the ship. The result of this was what? Many of the Franks died because of disease. Really, epidemics was like, an epidemic happens, the death toll is times 10. Simply, they have no hygiene whatsoever. Imagine a person who does not bathe for a year. And they even say, French perfumes. You know why French perfumes? They used to hide their stench with perfume. So you smell bad, you don't bathe, you just put perfume so that you compensate for it. It's that. But compared to this, when you go to the army of Salahuddeen Al-Ayubi, you find what Nuruddin Zenki, you used to have mobile bathrooms. Muslims are clean. We must have ghusl every Friday. You have to have wudu, right? So when you're fighting in the army, there's a mobile bathroom, there's a part of the army that moves. Once you camp, they put on mobile, you go ahead, shower, you take a, clean yourself, right? So Muslims were clean. And they looked at the Franks as like, hey, Literally, right? The second thing that someone who wanted to describe, he said that one time they came to the Muslim camp and they said, we need a doctor. See, the Franks, they were not good in science. They believed medicine, chemistry to be witchcraft. You know, alchemy, alchemy, at that time, it's like this is a witch. So if you're studying chemistry, you're burned to death. Literally. Doctors, again, it's a Muslim witch, right? But one of them came and said, we have 2 cases. We know that you guys have this medicine thing. Send someone else. And he sent someone from the Muslim camp, a doctor. The doctor later returned and they asked, what did you see? And the man was like, he said, what did you see? He said, well, the first case was a knight that came with an infected wound in his leg. Oh, that's infected. And I said, okay, I know what to do. Yes. But here, dealing with the infected wound, then you need to purify it and do whatever. And then all of a sudden, one of the priests, religious men, came, looked at me and said, what is this witch doing here? I am the follower of, I am the priest. I can save him. Remove that witch. And he goes to the knife and then he looked and said, And said, he asked him one question. Would you like to live with 1 leg or die with 2 legs? I said, I'd rather live with 1 leg. He said, okay, here's the cure. A battle axe, please. They get a battle axe. And then he tells one of the soldiers, hit right there. And he said, when he started hitting, the bone marrow split and he splattered everywhere. And he kept hitting, and the man screaming, and the man bled to death. That was the idea. They said the second case was even worse. They brought a woman with a skin, basically allergies. Sometimes people are allergic to food. And she had some allergies and skin. Someone said, I know what she's eating, and I eat a related diet and give her some things to put, creams and what have you, right? And then the same man comes, this witch is here again? No, I treat her. Go away. He looks to the woman. Oh, I see. The devil fell in love with her. I have to cast the devil out. What's the cure? Shave her hair. You order, literally, shave the hair of the woman. Of course, the woman was so depressed, started eating more, right? And he said the infection spread more. So the man came and said, oh, the devil is in her head. I need to get him out. So what are you going to do? Get me a knife. And he starts cutting the shape of a cross, cutting the skull. Get me some salt, let me put it in her brain so I cast the devil out. And the woman died. So they were very powerful. Right? The idea of justice, as another woman described, he was horrified. Muslims, they had fiqh, jurisprudence, innocent, they proven guilty, the laws of Sharia, very lax, right? So, no, somebody comes with a claim, this man stole from me. Okay, here's our jurisprudence. The truth is heavy, right? So they go to this man, did you steal? No. Okay, if you're saying the truth, you'll be happy. So get a container of water, tie his hands, the man's hands behind his back, and tie a rope around, throw him in the water. If he's saying the truth is heavy, he'll sink. If he's not saying the truth, he'll float. Literally. And they take the man, and instead of all this, like shock. What kind of thing is this? And they throw the man, and the man tried his best to sink, but he couldn't. So they take him out, you're a liar, and the punishment is blind. You're a thief. So the Franks, when they came, the Muslims saw them as well. Barbaric, backward, but they had one thing. When it came to war, when it came to battle, when it came to determination, they highly committed. Their lines in the battle. They had commitment. They're very sincere to their religion. They will spend all their money if their Pope told them to. Right? You know the word dalleen? You know what we say? Right? Dalleen is a very interesting word. It means what? Lost. Lost. I can believe that those were those people. They're very sincere believers. What's their problem? Their map is wrong. You know you're very sincere and you want to go somewhere and you exert all the effort, but what's the problem? Your ilm. The Pope, what he's telling you is wrong. So those were the Franks. Very sincere people, but very evil. Terrorists are very sincere people. What they want good. But if the ilm is not intact, and you start holding a sword in your hand, you become the most dangerous person ever. Because we have the zealousy and the commitment of religion, but with the ignorance of the days of Jahiliyyah. Very dangerous combination. That's why they were that dangerous, right? Very barbaric, right? Anyway, so we said Nuruddin Zenki was defeated. The Franks are now looking to Egypt. And something happened in Egypt that the next 30 minutes, inshallah, will change the events of history. So under the Ismailis, we said a lot of turmoil. So one wazir comes to power, right? His name is Shawar. Another wazir succeeds in coming, overthrowing him. But this wazir, Shawar, succeeds in escaping. He runs away. And he runs away and he did something out of the box. He decided to run away and go to Nuruddin Zenki. He's Ismaili, but he goes to Nuruddin Zenki. And then he lays a proposal. He says, listen, I know you're fighting the Franks, and you unified Sham. Egypt is a very rich country. And I promise you, if you put me back in power in Egypt, I will give you 1/3 of the wealth of Egypt. And I will help you. You can attack from the north, and I support you from the south. It's a good combination. And I'll give you 1/3 of our wealth. We will support you. And what do you think Nuruddin Zenki did? Yes? No? What would you do? Who says yes? Okay, who says no? And many people I don't know. So Nuruddin Zenki being a strategist says it's not a good idea. Why? The Ismailis, I don't know them. And look, Egypt is far and the Crusaders are in the middle. How will I do this? And Egypt is a huge country. It's extremely dangerous, and I don't know them, right? It was one of his commanders, a man by the name of Hassan Elwan, or one of those people of Al-Aqab and Hikariya and Rawaliya. You remember Ali ibn Musafir? That if you look at his history and the battles he fought, which I didn't go through, did amazing things in the battles with Nuruddin Zenki, right? He was one of the most feared commanders of Nuruddin Zenki. Very powerful commander, right? So it was Salahuddin that came and told Nuruddin one, listen, no, Egypt is weak, the Franks are going to take it, we can't let this go, we have to go and help. And then he said the following, I'm not going to ask you to send the big army, send me, but allow me to pick 3,000, only 3,000. But let me pick them. You know what he means? I pick the 3,000, the elite force. And I promise you, with 3,000 people only, I'll bring Egypt back. We will succeed in taking Egypt. And he kept at it, and Nuruddin Zenki agreed at that. Right? Reluctantly. And as Salahuddin starts gathering some of the top people, like who? Al-Faqih Isa al-Hikari. What is that? Faqih Isa al-Hikari is one of the men that we received Salahuddin. Faqih Isa al-Hikari came from the Nomalia school. He was a full-fledged faqih. But later he went and served Nuruddin Zenki, become one of the most fiercest of his warriors. And he's a sheikh and a warrior. So the thing about him, he used to wear his helmet and the turban around it. So when he was present in an army, it was what you have a sheikh, a faqih, fighting. Right? So he picked him. He picked Salahuddin Al-Ayubi. He picked many of the top leaders, Salahuddin Al-Hikari, some of the top people. Another thing interesting that you can see, the way they used to train the new generation. Salahuddin insisted his young nephew, right, Yusuf, young man playing around, it's time for him to learn the arts of chivalry, fighting, toughness, manhood. So he asked him, you have to join this campaign. And this young man's like, no, you will, and he insisted you will come so that he would learn from us, right? So the campaign had some young people for training, and then had those elite forces, if you will. And then the plan was what? The plan was Nuruddin would attack from the north, create a divergence, right? So when he attacks, the Franks will focus what Nuruddin is there, right? And Salahuddin will take the 3,000 knights full gallop, non-stop. They will gallop all the way south and across the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt, right? Non-stop, all the way in Egypt, right? And that's what they did. Nuruddin started attacking, and those 3,000 knights, and Shawar, the Wazir, started galloping, and indeed they surprised the city of Belbais. This is a very small city in the eastern district of Egypt. They take the city, and before next day happens, all of a sudden the forces of Salahuddin are on the doors of Cairo. They did not have enough time to put a resistance and shower those people from inside. A battle happens, and subhanAllah, Asad al-Din wins, and they enter into the city of Cairo, they capture the other wazir, Shawar throws him away, and Shawar comes to power, and it seems Asad al-Din succeeded. 3,000 knights succeeded in taking Egypt, right? And Asad al-Din, khalas, we have an agreement, and he goes back to the city of Bilbis and sends to Shawar, hey, our agreement says 1/3 of the wealth of Egypt. What do you think Shawar did at this point? But what agreement? You have to leave right now. So Asad al-Din said, wait a minute, we had an agreement, you're going to help us, and said, look, you have to leave right now, or else. And Asad al-Din said, I'm not leaving, I have my forces, I'm staying here, or else, right? It's Asad al-Din power, right? What do you think Shawar did at this point? What is a very good strategic move from his perspective? He's afraid from Asad al-Din, top 3,000 soldiers of Nuruddin Zenki. He sends the guys immediately. Buddy. Said, listen, Shawar is Asad al-Din is here, he has only 3,000 people. Right? If you send your forces right now, he's trapped in the city of Bilbis, and I send the Egyptian force, we can get rid of him. And I promise to pay all your campaign expenses. Remember Desert School, all expenses paid, come and help us. Everything is paid, and I give gifts to you, and this, and I give you tribute of that, come on, and they will not need any more. It was a golden opportunity. The top leader of Nuruddin with the top 3,000 trapped, and Egypt is there, and if they get rid of him, Egypt is like just across, right? So without hesitation, a huge Frankish army appeared at the city of Bilbis. And Asad al-Din found himself trapped inside with the armies of Egypt and the armies of the Franks surrounding the city. Right? What do you think he did at this point? He surrendered, right? Well, it goes on that he texted Nuruddin Zenki. It's true, he sent the text message. He had wireless communication. It's called Pigeon Express. So it's true, right? Pigeons, Muslims, it's something the Muslims do, but then the Franks didn't know that. You raise pigeons in a certain place, and you go in another place, and leave them, they fly back to the area they were born in. So when a Muslim army moves, they take pigeons from Aleppo, pigeons from Damascus, So he had those pigeons, so immediately he wrote a small letter, tied it to the pigeon, let the pigeon fly, reach Damascus, and Nuruddin Zenki got the message. The Shawar betrayed, and we are trapped in the city of Bilbis. And if you are Nuruddin Zenki, what would you do? You might say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, right? So Nuruddin Zenki starts doing two things. He starts fasting day and night. Daily qiyam and dua. Do not underestimate dua. Do not underestimate spiritual needs. Right? Fasting increases again, increases prayers. Right? And fasting not only every single day. Right? And then he commanded everyone, come, we need to attack the Franks at us. We have to relieve Asad al-Din. I have to put pressure on them, because if they're attacking him here, I need to make them come back. Gather his forces, launch campaigns. The Franks at this point said, this is a golden opportunity. One, Asad al-Din is away with the top 3,000 soldiers. Nuruddin has been defeated before in the Battle of al-Baqiyah. Now, if we defeat him, and we defeat Asad al-Din, guess what? Egypt and Sham, we're done. So they gathered all their forces, everybody, right? And in the place called Harib, for a showdown. It's time to take Nuruddin Zenki. And the two forces met by the city of Harib. And it said Nuruddin Zenki spent the whole night praying and making dua and crying to Allah. And subhanAllah, of his dua, he used to say, Ya Rabbi, هؤلاء عبادك وهؤلاء عبادك. هؤلاء أولياءك وهؤلاء أعداءك. انصر أولياءك على أعدائك. Says everyone, they're all your أعداء. However, those are your أولياء. Those are your enemies. Bring victory to your أولياء. And then he says, bring victory to the Muslims, not to Mahmoud, Nuruddin Mahmoud. Who is the dog, Nuruddin Mahmoud? He called himself that deserves this. Do not let the Muslims down because of anything wrong I did. And he spent the night with him. Next day, the battle of Harib happened. It is described again, and we have the days of all those battles, by the way. For those young people who are interested in the techniques of battle, battle, we have books, unfortunately by non-Muslims, what describes the battle techniques. This is about the battle of Hattin, right? So we have details, and tomorrow at least for the battle of Hattin, I'll give you the exact details of what Salahuddin did. It's amazing. But I'll go quickly here. So the battle of Harib happened, and it ended up with a major victory for Nuruddin Zenki. He captured the leaders of the Franks. When that happened, he sent a letter to Salahuddin in Egypt and sent immediately someone to gather with some of the flags and stuff, show this to people. So the news came to Egypt that the Franks had been defeated heavily, right? By the city of Harib, by Nuruddin Zenki, and now Nuruddin might start attacking their cities. At that point, the Frankish army, by the city of Bilbais was like, what should we do? He writes something really interesting. He says, and something that's amazing, a city like Bilbais, which is not well fortified, it says that the wall of the city is very short, could resist the army of Egypt and the army of Franks for 2 weeks. 3,000 knights of Nuruddin Zenki resisted the Franks in such a small city and the Egyptians for 2 weeks. What I want you to see, the soldiers are different. I want you to remember the soldiers in the beginning, how they ran away. It's not the leaders. You see those soldiers? It's not about Salahuddin. Those soldiers are the people that made it. There's such look at their steadfastness. They could not take the city. And now Shawar sends a proposal. What is the proposal? He says to the Franks, well, this is not good for you. Well, Nuruddin is victorious, you need to leave. He says to Salahuddin, that's not good for you either. You're trapped here. I have a proposal. We'll allow the following. Ceasefire, right? You both leave. The Franks, you leave, rescue your cities, and I'm going to pay you 100,000 dinars for your efforts. Right? Salahuddin, we will allow you to leave safely. We'll open the gates, you leave, and you save yourself and your army and go out and return back to Nuruddin. And they both agree. Now, who's winning here? See what Shawar did? Use Nuruddin, get him, neutralize him with the Franks, make a deal, and not in power. Right? And they opened the doors of the city of Bilbais. And Salahuddin is standing there. He says he comes, he stands at the door with his sword, and his soldiers are coming out. And some of the Franks came to him, and he asked him a question. And he said, we used to hear a lot about you, but we ask you a question. Aren't you afraid? You're letting your men out, and we have the order. Aren't you afraid that we betray, and then we'll fight and we'll kill all of you in the open? The response of Salahuddin said the following: I wish you would. It was not my idea. My idea was to continue to resist and not to agree. But it's my friends. When I did shura with them, everybody said that we should leave. But in my opinion, we should fight. And I wish you fight us because every one of us will kill 10 of you. And then Nuruddin will come and he will take each of you. Right? And that man says, I used to hear about you. And I saw that other soldiers are afraid, so much afraid of you, and I didn't understand why till now. I'm saying this for a reason. Some of us, sometimes when we read history, we find such powerful statements from Khalid, Walid, Muqdad, and then we go and we say it. And when we say it to other people, they mock us. Why? Because those words, it's not about the words that leave our lips. It's about the heart they come out from. The words of Salahuddin coming from the heart of Salahuddin, people are really terrible. The same word of Salahuddin coming from me, people will laugh. Why? It's not about when we read history, because sometimes we should be this way. Yeah, before saying the same words, be the same person, have the same heart. But you don't want to be the same person and use the same words, people mock us. Literally, they mock at us. Look at those people. They don't even take us seriously. They don't know reverence. Right? So people really feel Salahuddin. Right? And indeed, that's what happened. Right? Salahuddin returns back to Nuruddin Zenki, right? And the Franks leave, and Nuruddin is very satisfied, alhamdulillah. Right? But Salahuddin is not. He told Nuruddin Egypt is very weak. And the Franks now realize this. They are going to attack. We can't leave Egypt this way. This person, and he's already making treaties with them, it's terrible. Right? We have to take Egypt. And Nuruddin Zenki now is extremely reluctant. No. Salahuddin kept at it for 1 year. then Nur al-Din eventually agrees again. I give the 3,000 of the knights, like last time, you attack, this time you remove shower, take control. Can you do it? And Asad al-Din assured him, yes, I will. Right? And Nur al-Din, same thing happens, right? Nur al-Din starts attacking in the north, creating a divergence, right? Asad al-Din gallops all the way through the deserts of Sinai, but something unexpected happened this time. On the way to Egypt, they meet sandstorm. Have you ever seen a sandstorm?
No.
Can't see your hand, right? And in the desert, it's deadly. You can't do anything, and they lost some of their mounts. Right? And that delayed Asad al-Din. And the news came to Shawar that Asad al-Din on his way. So he immediately contacted the Franks, right? And they did not need any more invitation, right? So they immediately went from the northern path, right? Al-Arish, by the coast to avoid any problems in Sinai, right? And they reached the city of Cairo. And then the joint army of the Franks and the Egyptians lay around the city of Cairo, waiting for Asad al-Din to show up. And they wait, no Asad al-Din doesn't show up. What happened? Where is he? Did he go back? He's not showing up. What he did was something really interesting. Asad al-Din decides to do something, because now he realizes it's no surprise they're expecting. You cannot, it's a strategy, basic strategy. If the opponent expects you have to do something out of the box always. Right? So he decided, what, I'm going to go south, the side of Egypt, and I'm going to cross the Nile River. And then I'm going to go north from the other side and appear at Cairo from the other side of the river, Giza area, and there is a barrier of the Nile River between me and them. And he appeared on the other side of Cairo, right, and sent a message to Shawar, telling him, look, it's a golden opportunity. I'm from the east, I'm from the west, you're from the east, the Franks are between us. It's a good opportunity. Let's consider, join the camp, we finish them off. It's a golden opportunity. The response of Shawar, he beheaded the Muslim messenger that delivered that message, and sent his head and the letter to the Franks, telling them, look how loyal I am to you. Asad al-Din tried this. This is what again, I want you to see what Nur al-Din is facing. The state of the Muslims at the time. The people you're trying to free and serve. That's the one that's doing this to you, right? And at that point, Asad al-Din realized it's not going to work. So he does what again, being mobile, he starts going all the way south. If we are going to fight, let me fight in an area that I choose. And the chase happens. He's going south, and the Franks and the Egyptians going after him. And in a very small place called Al-Balad, you don't need to remember the name, he stops and he seeks counsel. What do you think we should do? His commanders. And many of them said, well, it's not a wise idea to fight in the western area, because most likely we're going to be defeated. Right? And where would we go? Let's cross to the eastern side, fight there. If we're defeated, maybe we can reach Nur al-Din Zinki. At least we have a hope, right? Some of us. Right? Maybe we shouldn't fight. Then one of the Mamalik of Nur al-Din Zinki, and I don't like this, comment on this Mamalik at the end, right? Those are people that Nur al-Din Zinki, they stood up and said, whoever is afraid of death should not serve the people like Nur al-Din. What do you want? You want to go back to Nur al-Din Zinki and tell him, after all what he did, how much he spent on us, how much he honored us, the schools, the free services, you want to tell him, after all this, that we let Egypt fall to the Franks without a fight? That's not acceptable at all, after all what he did to us. And if you're afraid of that, you should have not served Nur al-Din at all. And Asad al-Din was so happy. And he said, that's exactly what I want to hear. He said, I'm glad I did. Victory is near, I have a plan. What is the plan? He said, I know. They will be after me. So he gave his flag, the flag of Asad al-Din, to his nephew, Yusuf, the young guy. Said, take my flag, stand in the center. Once they see this flag, they think that that's me, they're going to attack. I want you to appear to be defeated. And just withdraw and stop running away, and they chase you. And we will create a wedge. And I will be on the right side. And Bukhari Hikari on the left side. Once we create that wedge, very picture movement, we'll attack them from behind. And that's exactly what happened. The battle starts, and exactly like what he predicted. The Franks wanted to get rid of him at all costs. The main attack was towards the center. And Yusuf starts retreating, and they're chasing him, and they're thinking, and then a pinch of movement happened. And the Athir writes, من أعجب ما يؤرخ, that's the way he says, from the most amazing things that I wrote about, that the 3,000 knights of Nuruddin Zinki defeats the joint Egyptian and Franks army in the Battle of Irvine. I want you to see, who are those people? You see the difference? It's like those soldiers, they're not the regular soldiers, something is different about them, their commitment, their level of dedication. Where were they from the beginning? Okay, listen, he came. Remember the show we spoke about something transformed. We'll speak about this more tomorrow, inshallah. But anyway, so now they're victorious. Now what? Right? So they start immediately retreating from Cairo, and the joint army appears in Cairo, is trying to defend Cairo. Salahuddin doesn't show up in Cairo. Where do you think he went? Remember Nuruddin Zinki was in communication with scholars? Remember we said something? Alexandria has some Sunni scholars today, Hafiz Salaf, Tahir Rauf, Askandarani, great scholars. So there's a Sunni movement in Alexandria. So he knows, so he communicated with the scholars of Alexandria. And they agreed that he can't open the doors. So he goes to the city of Alexandria, they open the doors of the city of, and Salahuddin enters the city of Alexandria. And now the Egyptians are like, what happened? This man is a nuisance, right? So they start doing what? Chasing him. Orders the fleet to come from Jerusalem, block Alexandria, right? And now Salahuddin is trapped inside of the city of Alexandria, and they're around him, and he's a hassle, and Salahuddin does something even weirder. He orders open the gate, takes 300 knights only, and charges towards the fence. They prepare to meet him, he penetrates the ranks. He does not fight. And what does he do? He's not attempting to fight. He goes all the way south, taking in Fahir Isa and Hikari. What is he doing? Preaching to the Egyptians about what's going on, the Ismailis, the necessity to fight the Franks, and uprisings, what's happening in Egypt. It's causing unrest, right? And Shawar now is like, okay, this man is causing a headache, right? And again, Nuruddin, what is he doing in the meantime? Same story like before, attacking the cities all over again and again and again. At this point, what do you think happened next? Negotiations. Shawar say, listen, this is not good. Right? Salahuddin, you're trapped in Alexandria, the Franks have been defeated, and Nuruddin is attacking. So I make a deal. For the Franks, I'm going to pay you 1 million dinar, 1 million, which is a phenomenal amount, right? And I promise you this time, you can leave some of your soldiers inside the city of Cairo. Joint defense agreement, right? And you can return. And we will let Salahuddin go free. And he sends the proposal to Salahuddin. And the same story happens again. Right? They agree. By the way, one thing they told him, leave the people of the city of Alexandria as part of the agreement. And of course, Shawar takes Alexandria, punishes everybody, right? That supported Salahuddin. But anyway, so the agreement happens, the Franks meet, right? And Salahuddin leaves, and Shawar is back to power. Here's the third time. What do you think Salahuddin did this time? He was very upset, right? And he went to Nuruddin and told him, we can't leave Egypt, and Nuruddin said, that's it, no Egypt anymore, right? It's not working, right? But something happened. What he predicted happened. The Franks next year sent to the king of Jerusalem, saying Egypt is so weak, and we have our people in Cairo. Send your troops, and we open the gates. And he just received a new batch of knights. He was from Middle Knights coming fresh from Europe, zealous to fight. He said, this is the time. And a huge Frankish army comes and starts marching towards the city of Cairo. They go towards the city of Bilbis. Salahuddin is not there. They take the city in 1 day. Something happened in Bilbis, good and bad. Bad, those zealous knights killed everybody in the city. Every man, woman, and child. Terrible, massacre. But what good about it? The Egyptians realized we cannot trust those people. If they take Cairo, we will. There is no joint treaty, right? So we have to fight. So they decided to defend Cairo. No resistance. And the Khalifa, the Ismaili Khalifa, the weak Ismaili Khalifa, sends a letter to Nuruddin Zinki with some flocks of hair from his wives, telling him, those are flocks of hairs of my own wives, asking you to come and rescue them from the fate that will, and what will happen to them if the Franks take Cairo. They are here, and I promise you this time, I'll get rid of Shah. You will keep hearing this, with the Franks are about to take Cairo, the response was what? Quote Salahuddeen, not 3,000 Franks. This time, take the army. Full army, at your disposal. Major campaign. We cannot let Egypt fall to our face, even if it's this. And as it takes the army, marches towards the city of Egypt, right, the city of Cairo, right? He reaches the city of Cairo, the Franks could not take the city, and they find themselves trapped. And now Salahuddeen with the full army, they're going to be trapped in Egypt, and they realize this, and they decide to retreat. They leave the city of Cairo and go back to where they came from. Right? Now, when that happened, it seemed like a victory. And Salahuddeen enters the city of Cairo and to the Khalifa, and they capture Shawar. And the Israeli Khalifa himself orders him to be beheaded for all the reasons he did. But now you killed Shawar, like it's done. Who is the new wazir? Salahuddeen. Salahuddeen is not the new wazir of Egypt. And now something amazing happens. It seems that Egypt has some form of control from Salahuddin Zinki. Some unity is happening. You have Salahuddin here, and you have Salahuddin Zinki. Interestingly enough, 2 months later, Salahuddin dies a natural death, not assassination. And it's amazing. Nobody knows why. Fell sick, he passes away. When he passed away, the Israeli Khalifa said, well, good. Then who should I assign as the next wazir? I need someone that's weak, someone that I can control, so I can put him under the wing. And he looked to the men of Salahuddin. Hey, Salahuddin, no. Who's the youngest, most unexperienced? Oh, Yusuf, this young kid. The nephew that will come to the palace. And he invites Yusuf to the palace and tells him, okay, you are the new wazir of Egypt. And he gives him a cloak, and he gives him, and he says, here, and I give you a title, you are al-Nasr. And here comes to power, al-Nasr, Yusuf, ibn Najmuddin, ibn Shadi, ibn Ayubi, known as Salahuddeen Al-Ayubi. That young man, Yusuf, that never wanted to be in power, and that reluctantly went to Egypt, did not want to go, was chosen by the Ismaili Khalifa for what purpose? This is it. You just picked Salahuddin with your own hands. The one that's going to destroy the Ismaili Khalifa, you picked him. SubhanAllah, right? And indeed, what he predicted happened. The Muslim universe started. What is this? No, this is a trap. We cannot work under you. Yusuf as a kid. And the leaders, what he predicted happened. Right? They started to fight. We don't agree. Yusuf is not the wazir. You pick someone else. It was a scholar. He came and he told them it's about unity. It's about sincerity. And there's a hadith, Allah has mercy on a person. When he's in command, he's in command. When you put him in the safar, you serve wherever you're at. Remember Khalid ibn Walid? When Umar, he was the leader, Umar let him down and he agreed. It's about sincerity. So he reminded them, it's not about one man. We serve, it's about us as a unit. Serve Yusuf, do not fall for the trap. That's what he expects. That's why he chose Yusuf. Don't fall for his trap. Stay mindful. And he kept at it in the whole men agreed, and they followed Salahuddin. Enters into the scene. Salahuddin Al-Ayubi as the wazir of Egypt. Right? And now we have something really interesting. You have Salahuddin Zinki, and you have Salahuddin in Egypt. For the first time, it seems that Egypt and Sham are united. Nevertheless, maybe we stop here. And again, I see some of the fact of Salahuddin, but I just want to point the challenges that Salahuddin faced. What was the biggest challenge of Salahuddin? Egyptians. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that I'm Egyptian. And why am I saying this? Because some of us think if Salahuddin comes today, yeah, we will fight him and remove him from office. We won't be happy. is going to tell us to do things that we don't like. And we will get back a tyrant to rule us again. Just to know what I mean. Anyway, so Salahuddin comes, and what Egypt has been under the Ismailis for over 2 centuries. He realized the army is not with him. The Egyptian army is not with him. The courts are not with him. The Azhar is not with him. The Khalifa is not with him. The people are confused in their belief. Egypt needs major reform. One of the major challenges Salahuddin will face is what? How do I reform this? And this is something we need to discuss in today's. How do you take a country for 2 centuries ruined, with no economy, nothing at all, and bring them back? And the threat is not only internal. The assassins are not happy with you. The Israelis are not happy with you. The Franks are not happy. There is external threats and there is internal threats. And that's a major challenge that Salahuddin is going to face. Just quickly, and we'll start that next time, the character of Salahuddin, just quickly. Salahuddin is raised by scholars. He is the student of Hafid al-Asad, raised in Damascus, in the schools that were being incubated. Right? You saw his training, right? The one difference is very much like Nuruddin Zinki. There is one difference between Salahuddin and I'm saying quickly, and Nuruddin. Salahuddin, they describe very fierce, courageous, just, but very tender, compassionate, and lenient. He loved the Quran. He recited the Quran, Salahuddin lives. He always helped the weak people. And as you will see in all his battles, after he wins, he would stand and see who's defeated and help them out. He had such a gentle and tender heart. He's very extremely kind with his money. His financial advisors used to hide his money away from him because he gives it to anybody. He's walking one day, he sees a young boy reciting Quran. He's so happy with the boy. Who are you? Bring me your father, and I'll spend on you for the rest of your life. Go study Quran. This is Salahuddin Al-Ayubi. Right? So the main character of Salahuddin, like Nuruddin, but with compassion and leniency, which you will see, this was a key why people love Salahuddin, and through his reform. And we'll discuss this more, inshallah, next time. Right? Just a quick thing. This is the list that we'll discuss it more next time. The men around Salahuddin. You see, when he came, he didn't come alone. If he came alone, he wouldn't do anything. Those men that came, right? The knights and the scholars. Salahuddin was surrounded with knights and scholars that made his mission go. And some of the names, and maybe I'll mention one and we'll stop here today. So those are some of the leaders of Salahuddin. He said some of the scholars that will Hafid al-Asad, we spoke about them today. Some of his personal mentors, the great scholar in Shaddad, the Hadith scholar, that accompanied Salahuddin in all the battles and taught him on a daily basis, as we see, right? And you can see the Qadi Fadl, Qutbuddin al-Maysaburi, will discuss this more. The men, the knights around Salahuddin, right? You have the Faqih Isa al-Hikari, Sayyid al-Hikari. You have, I have to mention those two we saw here. Mudaffar al-Din Qutb. That's one of the, Qutb is blue, I think it's Libya, blue wolf. That's the meaning of it, right? So Mudaffar al-Din Qutb was married to the sister of Salahuddin. They described him as a knight, and he was with Salahuddin in the battle of Irvine, right? One thing I want to mention about this man, like all the other men, he was extremely generous. Not only in building schools, he was so generous. He used to donate 500 dinars every day, right? He was known. He said in his time he freed more than 30,000 prisoners of war for his money. You know, people that got captured by the Franks, he would dance, right? One thing that he did that I want you to remember this, Mawlid, they never celebrated the birthday of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When did it start? It started in this time. Who started it? How did it start? It didn't start like this. Mudaffar al-Din Qutb loved the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam so much. So on the day of the birthday of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he would do the following. He would slaughter 1,000 cows. 30,000 chicken. They describe this 60,000 yogurts, fruits, and he would lay tables to the whole city. Every single human being in the town, free, top quality food for everyone, honoring the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So people now started, looking forward to the Mawlid, right? And now we see Mawlid differently. But this is how it started, right? So those people, Hussein al-Din We'll see him next time. The commander of the fleet of Salahuddin Al-Ayubi. This man was so generous every day. He would make 10,000 loaves of bread for him. Right? So one thing we'll see, the people around Salahuddin, extremely generous, extremely courageous, extremely religious, and very much united on La ilaha illallah. So Salahuddin comes to power faced by challenges from inside and outside. What will happen? Will the Ismailis let him be? Will the assassins let him be? Will the Franks attack Egypt? How does the Battle of Ukraine happen? How does Salahuddin recover Jerusalem? Was there any counter-attack after he covered Jerusalem? This is what we find out, inshallah, tomorrow. So inshallah, like Jazakumullah for being patient, it's I don't try to focus a lot. So inshallah, 9 a.m. tomorrow till 1 p.m. And I hope inshallah that we get to know Salahuddin tomorrow. Jazakumullah for being patient. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah. Assalamu alaikum. Tomorrow's lecture, I heard is in the other building, so maybe they give us the lecture for that. And the PowerPoint, as I said, will be available. And please don't forget to make the
Two story or the one story?
Somebody told me this morning to the building. That's why I checked. Maybe Amin or somebody could.
I'll check with Amin later.
This was posted to the show.
ولا عايز ايه؟ مش عايز تحرر الاقصى ايه؟ يلا يلا يا شيخ سليم.